through the 16-week program, they had resume review. They made everybody do LinkedIn profile post once a week. It was required. They had people do interview prep where they actually gave feedback. And my son got a job the day after he finished the program. So like that's a model that's just like totally
Yes.
working.
Yes.
And it was
And
like
he didn't drop $400,000 to get it.
no, he didn't. He didn't. And now he's ready to go back and get an engineering degree now that he's got the tech and he's got
Oh,
a job and he's making money and he's moving out. So
yes.
Oh,
it's good stuff. So
Yay.
there are things that are working, but then I did a little research on this, Felina, before our call today, and I think the universities that are putting programs like this into place are seeing results with young folks feeling confident to get a job and knowing how to navigate that process and bringing skills.
Most recently, this came up because I was helping a friend's son. Now, he is going into his senior year at USC, and I asked him, had he gone to the Career Center, and he said yes. So I filmed a couple screencasts. We went back and forth. I asked him if he had made a target list of law firms. He had no idea what I was talking about. So back and forth on screencasts. And this poor young man doesn't even have the tools from the Career Center or his first $300,000 investment to even get an internship. And when we look at the underemployment rate for these college grads, because of a number of reasons, including AI, I'm scared for the next generation. I am concerned because I'm an employer and I want the next generation of young people to succeed. So, what do we do about it? How can we help? This
yeah.
is my question.
Uh, this is a great question and actually super relevant to me right now because I have a daughter who is a college freshman and she is already thinking about she needs to get an internship. And she's like in her head already realizing that without having that kind of experience when she's about to graduate, there's no way that she'll be able to find a job. So she knows to get a leg up on the other students that she'll be competing against. She needs to have internships after each year of her college experience. But it's been really hard because, because she's a freshman, a lot of times companies won't hire freshman. She's a civil engineering major, so that's also
Ooh.
really difficult. I don't know sort of more comprehensively or more broadly what we do. And I think I am also concerned because a lot of her friends that graduated a year or two ago from college do not have jobs, even
They're
though
right back in the spare
they're
bedroom, right?
they're right
And
back. Yep. Yeah. She has a friend that graduated from UCSD with an engineering degree, and he's 2 years out and still doesn't have a job. Yeah. And I also have a seventh grader. My son's already saying, you know what? I don't know if it will make sense for me to go to college because you run into all this debt. AI is going to be changing the workforce, and maybe I just want to like work at a bike shop or something. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of viable.
fair.
I work for a University of California. So I have been appalled to see what the pandemic has done to the learning ability of the youth. I mean, um, their attention span is like a gnat. It's so, so bad. So one of the ways, I mean, this comes up for us all the time. One of the ways that I've been trying to help put out the fire that is the pipeline, I hire them as work study students.
Mhm.
And so I've talked to a lot of people across the campus, and a lot of people when they hire work study students, they like give them very menial jobs, you know. I don't. I put them to work. And even, with the job description, I let them know this is not a job to play. You're not going to be sitting here doing your homework during these work hours. You're going to be working. So for example, I have two work studies right now. One does our website and the other one does our social media. These are both undergrads at UC Berkeley. They're brilliant, but I also look for brilliance. I am a I'm I've been described as a hardcore hirer, because I expect excellence and I expect you to have worked somewhere. I don't care if you worked at Burger King. If you worked at Starbucks or something, that gives you a leg up because you know how to deal with really difficult people. I mean, the horror stories I hear from my boss as a professor, I mean, given she is an engineer, but I mean, she tells me crazy things about her undergrads. Like, first of all, they don't come to class. And the pandemic has really kind of let certain groups believe that it's okay not to come to class, that you can just catch up on watching a video. And so they're having to, the university as a whole is being forced to undo that way of thinking as AI is coming in.
Let's just talk about something around attendance and expectation of doing the work. I've had a lot of managers come to me and go, how do I handle this when my employee feels apathetic and won't commit to come in to do the job? The employee feels autonomy. Well, I don't have to do the work if I don't want to. And it's being able to coach a manager to be able to sit down with this employee and find out where the tension points are. Um, it's yes, you have 3 days sick, but once you've used those 3 days, we need to figure this out. You need to have a better communication with your manager. And I break it down to say, look, it's a very simple exchange. You say yes to do work, company says yes to give you money. Now we need to level set the expectation there, right? And so just that one little spot, that one little tension point is causing havoc for early managers and a lot of businesses that need to manage their staffing, regardless of industry. What do you think, Kristina?
I think it's a multifaceted problem, and I think companies are not wanting to invest in new hires or recent grads. I think the schools are missing a huge opportunity to train them both in technical and soft skills and in how to get a job, like to your point, Felina, how to write a decent LinkedIn profile, how to make sure your resume is in a good place and can be accepted through an ATS system. I just want to share an anecdote. I don't think my son will mind if I share this, but he went to Palomar College and really enjoyed Palomar, but wasn't really hitting the mark or feeling like he knew what a legit path forward would be that wouldn't be taken by AI or something in the future. And then he found this program through Miracosta, which was called the Technical Career Institute. And so it was engineering tech skills. So basically fixing machines on a manufacturing floor and understanding both how to do the manufacturing and lead. Through the 16-week program, they had resume review. They made everybody do LinkedIn profile post once a week. It was required. They had people do interview prep where they actually gave feedback. And the graduation rate, I don't know the graduation rate, but the job rate for getting a job after is like in the 90%. And my son got a job the day after he finished the program. So like that's a model that's just like totally
Yes.
working.
Yes.
And it was like,
And he didn't drop $400,000 to get it.
no, he didn't. He didn't. And now he's ready to go back and get an engineering degree now that he's got the tech and he's got a job and he's making money and he's moving out.
Yes.
So like, it's good stuff. So
Yay!
there are things that are working, but then I did a little research on this, Felina, before our call today, and I think the universities that are putting programs like this into place are seeing results with young folks feeling confident to get a job and knowing how to navigate that process and bringing skills. And some of
Good.
it's you need internships or externships to really support that. So, yeah.
I'm so glad you shared that, Kristina, because that's what, in my opinion, I taught college for 10
Mhm.
years, both at a Cal State and at a trade school. So I've seen both ends of the
Mhm.
spectrum. And granted, it was 15 years ago. The world has totally changed since then. But I have young folks that come through Hera Hub's doors every single day and that are struggling. I just brought on somebody to the team that is struggling with these very things to the point that was being made that the changing last minute. We have an in-person meeting. Oh, I want to be on Zoom instead. No, that's not how that works.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm your customer. You don't do this last minute, right? Like just the expectations and just so different,
So different.
frankly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
So,
they
Yeah.
do need to be reset a little bit. And I think the other thing I've seen is there's a difference in folks who are like 18 or 19 versus 22 and 23. I think there's a
for sure.
maturity that comes from that a little bit, but you need some structure and behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You do.
I yeah, I think there's also a big place for normalizing the kind of program that you described, Christina, where it's a community college program and
It's
kids go
woven in.
right, yeah, instead of like in my area, the kids go to these very high performing high schools and they feel like they're a failure if they didn't get into Berkeley or UCLA or
Yeah.
Stanford, where and I have no evidence to suggest this, but I'll just put it out there that a lot of the kids that go through a program like that are finding jobs more quickly
Mhm.
than the kids that go through these, but it's almost I'm in high school, I'm pressuring myself to get the good grades and enter a prestigious university because that's sort of the has been
The path.
traditionally the marker or the path of being successful in life, but I don't know that it is anymore. And I think
Yeah.
I think all of us would benefit from a resetting of what is considered a good and successful path.
And we
exactly.
had a lot of conversations about that in our family because there was this feeling of does this feel less than in some way? And I'm sure there are some folks that may not appreciate the program that our son went through, but he was open-eyed about it and clear and had experienced other things. So, made that choice consciously. But I think, Veronica, you make a great point. Some people might not feel like they're able to make that choice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just normalizing it, like Veronica
Mhm.
said.
I think if we could put more programs like this in that are required into the undergrad portion of school rather than relying on people to go to the career center, that would make a huge difference.
I agree. Like, but when I taught at the trade school, we had a professional practices class. I taught it, and it was interviewing and LinkedIn and et cetera. Yeah, Karen, you had your hand up.
Oh, I was going to say, if we look contextually, the pandemic and social media has not done the workforce any favors in building those soft skills. A lot of anxiety for folks, not even interacting with people well. So, having to rebuild, reframe, remap this, I think it's going to be a good step forward.
Mhm.
Exactly. Get
Yeah.
off your phone and get
Get
out
off your
into the
phone.
world. Go
Yes.
talk to people face to face.
Yeah.
This was
Put the
great.
phone
Thanks
down.
for this, Felina.
Yes, exactly. More to be continued.